Oh my goodness, guys. In the latest chapter of One Piece called Echoes, chapter 1165, we had absolutely the climax of the fight in between Rock the Chibik, aka Davy D. Chibik, and on the other side you have Garp and Goldie Roger, the future Pirate King and all of that. And so in that final climax, we have Garp and Goldie Roger that are fighting so hard against Rocks because now that he became a devil and all of that, he became bigger and he also has wings and all of that, and maybe probably even way stronger. But he still cannot control himself properly, and he's still crying, out of frustration because he does not like the person that he became, basically. And you can see at the same time, Garp is making his Garp full of hockey, and he's like, Garp the Feast! Boom! And on the other side, you've got Goldie Roger with his sword, and he's putting all of his hockey on his sword. Plus, he's putting some conquer hockey at the same time on his sword, and he's swinging it as hard as he can against rocks and all of that, just to try and wake him up, because they can smell, they can sense that something is not right, and they can sense his frustration, and they can sense that the situation is not okay and something is happening. But even though they are fighting as hard as they can, rocks is still super super strong, like a Super Saiyan. I am telling you, it feels like we're watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z or something like that. But it's so cool to have that in One Piece. It feels like Ichiro Oda, the creator himself, is making a tribute towards the creator of Dragon Ball Z himself. And that scene, Roxy's like, there's like an outburst of power, and both Goldie Roger and Garp are being sent towards different directions and all of that. And at the same time, the sky also is splitting, so you can see that there's just an outburst of Conqueror's hockey up on top of Conqueror hockey. At the same time, the rest of the pirates, for example, Shiki, the Golden Lion, the future Golden Lion, he's already taking off. He's like, yeah, this is the end of the Rocks Pirates. Rocks Pirates are now history, so we better literally take whatever we can and go. And at the same time, both the Marines are calling Garp just to make sure that Garp is okay. And Garp is like, don't worry, guys, just take all the civilians and all of the Marines on the ships and take them out to the sea. And at the same time, the Goldie Roger pirates are also contacting Goldie Roger, and they're telling him, hey, are you okay, and all of that. And Goldie Roger is like, yeah, I'm okay, but I really need you to literally pick up everybody and go to the ship and go towards the sea. I will literally join you right after all of this, because Goldie Roger is not about to stop fighting before all of his friends literally make it out to safety, in a way. And at the same time, you get a page on one side, Goldie Roger on one side, and Garp on the other side. And I'm sorry to say, but they probably have some kind of familiarity in between the two, because I am sorry to say, they look like each other. So maybe uncles, like they are from the same line of the decline or something like that. But I'm probably gonna say it right here, right now, guys. You heard it right now. But I'm probably gonna say that Garp and Goldie Rogers' families are related somehow. And now that they understood their mission, and then that they understood that they have to literally stop rocks, they decided to call a truce. Meaning, Garp is not gonna try and fight Goldie Roger, and Goldie Roger the same, because normally they are on opposite sides of the spectrum. He's a Marine, he's a pirate. But now they are calling in a truce because they are facing somebody even stronger, rocks. And through their hustle and everything, like basically all of the environment, even around God Valley, is basically getting destroyed. From the previous chapter where we saw one of those two towers that basically fell out of rocks and Whitebeard clashing, well, now the second one fell out of the clashing between rocks and Garp and Goldie Roger. And on top of it, basically all of the island is getting literally just demolished because of those beasts that are fighting on God Valley right now. But in all of it, we still get on one side the Goldie pirates that are coming back to their ship, and at the same time, Gloriosa is like, yeah, can I join? Can I go with you guys? So that's why I believe Gloriosa is probably gonna be on their ship at this point. Maybe. But at the same time, we also get Lin Lin and Kaido that are fighting, and Lin Lin. Now that's the moment we get the talk about the possible lifetime service that Kaido has towards Lin Lin, for example. And in here, Lin Lin is like, yes, you owe me a debt for life. You owe me for this. And Kaido is like, you're just bitter because I ate it first. And hey, from what happened, he basically just stole the devil fruit from the hands of Lin Lin. Basically, he came with his kanabo and he, you know. And so from that promise, from that day, where she was like, you have a debt for infinity and whatever. Well, that's the moment when Luffy actually went to Wano Kuni, and Big Mom wanted to actually get her revenge, and that's by her going to Wano Kuni and allowing her to like basically do whatever she wants and all of that. That's basically how he is repaying the service in a way. And on another page, now we're skipping to a very funny moment, because from the previous chapter, I already noticed that there was somebody that looked kind of like Marco the Phoenix. But in this chapter, we actually get that person, and that person is called Polo Graham of the Polo Pirates. He's basically the captain of the Polo Pirates. And he basically looks like Marco the Phoenix, and he's probably his daddy. And he's talking to Newgate, telling him, oh, Newgate, oh yeah, you're the one who destroyed that tower. Love your work. And from there, I am probably guessing that Polo Graham joins Newgate in his adventures and all of that with his son, Marco the Phoenix, and the dad, probably something happened to him and all of that, and that's why Marco the Phoenix stayed with the Whitebeards since he literally was a kid, you know? And at the same time, we finally get Dragon that came back towards the ship where the Marines are, and he basically is guns blazing. He does not care anymore. He took his gun and now he's literally on the Marines. He's like, did you know about everything that transpired in God Valley? Did you fucking guys know? Because he didn't know himself, and he cannot believe that he basically had a part in all of it too without his consent even. So that's why he is literally pissed, and the Marines are telling him, Dragon, come down because you're gonna have a lot of troubles and all of that. And he's like, bring it on. I don't need no more of you guys. I need to literally revolution. And on the other side, Rayleigh and Gabon actually left all of the Goldie Roger pirates on the ship, and they are actually coming back to the field, because I am guessing that after their whole fight after Rocks, Garp and Goldie Roger are going to be so exhausted that they won't even be able to move. So in a way, the only people to kind of like get them out of there, Gabon and Rayleigh, because they are literally the strongest people around too, you know? And finally, we get to him that says that island never existed. Is that clear? Because we can still see that she is possessing Saint Saturn because of the eyes, you know? And here says, the records kept by G11 and CP6 concerning the top secret level S special mission on God Valley are sparse. The names of the participants of the human hunt were purged. Little is recorded regarding the site of the incident, God Valley. Information regarding the island's whereabouts, size, and population were also purged. The number of casualties remains unknown to this day. And at the same time, in between the fights between Rocks and Goldie Roger and Garp, now Goldie Roger and Garp are talking, and they're like, did you know that that this black monster belonged to the government and all of that? Did you know basically about all of this? And Garp is like, no, I did not know. No, he's like, I didn't know shit about all of this. And Goldie Roger is like, so in that case, hey, if you wanna ever join my pirate ship, let's go. You have a spot in my pirate ship, you know? And Garp is like, no, I can't, you know? Then in that case, now we get the answer to why Garp is still in the Marines after discovering basically everything that happened, all of the atrocities and all of that, and he literally stays in there. I was like, yeah, he's probably shady now and all of that. But now when you actually learn about the true resolve of Garp, basically Garp is saying, who is going to defend the Marines? and you understand his sense of justice, his purpose in life, where it's about making justice for everybody. And he believes that the justice is the Marines, you know? They're the ones who fight crimes, fight criminals, pirates, and all of that. So they are the ones on the front line, and he's the one who basically also defends the Marines against even the world government, you know? And that's why also he never got that promotion to become an admiral, to become one of the Celestial Dragon's dogs, basically, and stuff like that. And that's why I am telling you, total respect to Garp. He is literally there to protect everyone in the Marines, and hopefully the Marines will stay forever because they deserve their spot. But now we get to a very specific moment where we are talking about hockey, because in between Garp and Goldie Roger, they're like, yeah, I am literally coating my sword with armaments hockey, and on top of it, I am using Conqueror's hockey on top of it, so it should work against rocks, but it's not working. But the theory now is that since he is using this power and Rocks is probably using Conqueror's hockey to coat his attacks and all of that, literally both attacks, since they are probably from the same, in the same line of strength, well, in that case, they are probably counter-attacking each other. Like, it does not work. Like, this counter this and this counter this. So at the end, it's a zero, and no one, and there's literally nothing that happens. But they are just getting more tired. But Rocks, he's not, because he can recover from anything because of his devil powers or whatever right now. And so basically, the solution is to use 100% or even more the plus ultra, but even more power to actually go against Rocks. So they basically have to hand it to him at 100%. But they both understand that after getting at 100%, they won't be able to even move after that. So that's why they better be really sure about their 100% and even put more towards it, you know? And why? Because again, they can literally sense the frustration on Rocks about his crying, because throughout this whole time he's literally been crying this whole time, and they can feel it, and that's why they need to put a stop to it. And so to do that, two attacks. Garp is going at it with an attack that's called Infinitum Explosion, and it's basically just like a Luffy's Gatling, bunch of punches packed with full power of Garp, you know? And at the same time, you've got Goldie Roger that's saying Kagutsushi Ace. That's his best attack at this time, full on with hockey, like armament hockey, conquerors and everything. And at that point, you can start to notice that after getting attacked, Rocks is that, like, that devilish side or whatever, that darkness is coming out of him. Did it actually come out all the way out of him? I don't know yet. I'm probably guessing so. And I'm probably guessing that in the next chapter, we're probably going to get Rocks that's on the ground after all the hits he got and after all the darkness that got out of him and stuff like that. And he's basically going to talk to probably Goldie Roger and tell him something about the secret of the world or something like that, you know, like, hey, you gotta go and read the poneglyphs because they have the loudest voice and all that. Because we don't forget, we were able to literally see that that both Garp and Goldie Roger can have access to the voice of all things. So that tells me maybe all of the D-clan members have a potential way of listening to that voice. But on that fateful day, literally you can see that God Valley, basically that day, totally got destroyed and got put out of the map of One Piece. And so basically that was the climax of the fight in between Rock the Chebek and Garp and Goldie Roger at the same time. And on that note, I want you guys to let me know in the comments below, what did you think about this chapter? What did you think about it seriously? And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!